Hello, everyone, and welcome back to week 6 of the North American Strikers Academy, the second week of week 6, and not even the last. I'm here with Brando, and we're here to watch Ballin' Ballers versus Ember's Flame in this pretty interesting matchup where they both have losing records, but Ember is definitely within striking distance of playoffs here.
Yep, and like you mentioned it, they both have losing records. Ball and Ballers currently sitting at, I believe, 0-5, and Ember Monarchs 2-3 going into the second week of week 6. But it looks like we are seeing uh, Ember pulling in, I believe, their substitute goalie in Beepo. So kind of interesting to see how they work with that. If they've been working with Beepo a little bit more to kind of get that synergy going. But whereas we're kind of seeing the all the starters coming out on the side of Ball and Ballers.
Yeah, Ballin' Ballers, of course, a team that is always really exciting to watch go into the qualifier season. This time, moved a step up from Nasty into NASA. Have struggled quite a bit in this season, but if you look at their regular season record, they've gone game 3 with quite a few powerful teams. So definitely not a team to count out.
Yeah, and I've gone against Ball and Ballers just a couple times in norms. They work insanely well together as a team, and especially with our first map going into Gates, very much you need that team synergy to play with the portals, finding those openings through the portals, attacking those pockets to get those barriers down as soon as possible. So going into this first map, I think Ball and Ballers might kind of have the synergy advantage of just kind of knowing each other so well.
Well, let's head right into the draft for Gates. Gates of Obscura coming through. And It is looking quite interesting. Ember's Flame, of course, picking up the Juno for Jay, and that is so good. But even better, I think, is the Atlas for Beepo. He's been a little bit of a one-trick, right? A little bit of an Atlas player, similar to Wisp in that way. And securing that very reliable melee goalie for the team is going to do them lots of good. But that Drakkar Brawler has me questioning a little bit, because that's not a pick we see too often.
No, and with the missile prop start, it might help with a bit more of those kind of cheeky, shove it in, gives you a bit more distance on your primary. And I guess if you're going for the damage, the distance on that ult and the damage on that ult as well, might be seeing some KOs coming out of the Drakkar, but opts for the slick kick. So we'll kind of see how their strategy goes going into this.
So far, though, Bam is doing so much work with that Asher. Such a good pick on Gates of Obscura, and so good at stuffing the core in with the addition of the speed boost from Dr. Bebop's Mako. But look at that, Jay with the pullback, but Dr. Bebop's ready. A final jump, though, in will take the second barrier, and a KO found by Bam on the top side. Really good clear by Beepo, though, through the portal. Earns a barrier back for Ember as Jay takes it away.
Yeah, and Bam able to get that KO, but now starting a little on stagger. And Jay kind of seeing it, but Lufoxio gets Jay out before they can secure that KO, but Zert spawning in, able to find that KO on Bam, and now it's a 2v2 as we wait for these final two to spawn back up.
Really good missile prop shotgun, though, from Mr. Zert to keep possession. Jay to the bottom side, perhaps. Oh, weird clear by Bam, but it goes to the other side of the world, and Mr. Zert through. The slimes clog up the lane, and Mr. Zert will get the goal as Dr. Bebop tries a bit too much ambitious clear a little bit.
Yeah, and looking at these awakenings, what I do find interesting, and we'll kind of see how well they can scale, it basically comes down to how big this investment's going to be. But the only person going Sparks on the side of Ember's Flame is Jay, so she's really the only one that can contest it, where we have Bam and Lufoxio both picking up that Spark Awakening, and we might be seeing some scaling in some of these later sets.
Yeah, I really like the missile prop on the two members of Ember, though. Of course, the Drakkar, but the Atlas as well makes the primary such a better tool. Unfortunately, there, a little bit of panic. The flip wasted in the face of Bam's primary, but a really good pass forward from Jay. The barrier is taken, and with a good flip here, that could be the goal, but no. Good defense, Lufoxio doesn't quite get the timing against the shotgun of Mr. Zert. The second goal of the game, 2 in a row.
Yeah, and just like you said, that missile prop on the Drakkar kind of allowed him to secure that final shot and kind of catch Lufoxio in kind of an awkward position, kind of a hard clear to get through, taking that ult to the face, and then the Drakkar primary coming out of nowhere.
To the top side, Lufoxio trying to start the offense quickly, and so far the Ballin' Ballers have gotten a lot of early offense right here to take both barriers again. It all matters in the goal, though, and that's what Ember's been good at, and Bebo currently good enough at defending the open net to buy enough time for Jay and Mr. Zerd, but Mr. Zerd getting a little bit low, it's getting a little dangerous, but the primaries from Bebo are keeping it away. A great pass through from Jay, and 2 barriers looking to be taken by Zerd. Not quite, but good clear out from Jay once again, and Ember, they're staying alive in these open goal situations.
Yeah, but just with Jay, with all those slimes just getting dumped onto Bebop's goal box with Voxio, they're taking a lot of damage, but they are able to find the clear out. And going back to like what you were saying earlier, Ballin' Ballers have been great on the starting offense, but they are just struggling to confirm a goal against Bebop with this missile prop. And this Atlas doesn't even have any speed yet, which is where you kind of right there catch Atlas out of position and just shoot it to a spot he cannot reach it to. And so they're struggling with Bebop now. If Bebop gets any more speed, even maybe just a little bit of size, I feel like it's just they're gonna struggle even more if they can't figure out an offensive game plan once they get the barriers down.
Yeah, same on the other side with Bebo, right? Bebop, though, this time the early barriers going down for the Ballin' Ballers, and it's up to Bam to get some big value back. Jay in the corner, not quite taken out by the combo from Lufoxio, and Mr. Zerd building up so much energy here. Beepo, an awkward flip away. The Gates Obscura corners where flips go to die. Bebop forced to flip on the other side. And now with Lufoxio taking it with the flip available, a good clear by Beepo will put it away for the moment. But still a dangerous situation as Bam pushing forward, finds the KO, finds the goal, and the Ballers bring it to a 0.5.
That is what Asher does so well, and why having an Imi midfield behind your Asher works so well. Asher works so well in these pockets. I think that's kind of why Ballers are able to take these barriers relatively easily. It's because Gates is notoriously known for these like good pockets for these forwards to attack in. But once those gates go down, Asher kind of struggles because it just gives Beepo more clearing options and just clearing away from Bam. But having an Imi behind you basically creates that artificial turret or artificial pockets, just with how much influence she has over the field with all the ranged abilities she can do.
Yeah, and usually Atlas, right, not a character that excels in the open net, but this game, it's definitely the state that is favored. A little bit more familiar in a sense, right? Not everyone's too familiar with Gates of Obscura, and the open net is just like a default map, so... But there, Beepo showing some familiarity and really good clear, perfectly lined up. Despite being a MOBA goalie, lines it up perfectly, and Mr. Zert sets up on the top side with the help of Jay. It was close. Ballers almost brought it back, but Ember's Flame come back and secure the first set.
Yeah, but we are going into the first draft, like we said. Like I was saying, we have, I believe, 2 sparks on the side of Ballers. Only 1 coming up now. We might be seeing that fall to Lufoxio, unless they pick up something. Ooh, maybe the Timeless? No, they do go for the sparks here.
Yeah, the sparks are going to get a lot of value, but that Knife's Edge is also a great awakening. I would have liked Zert to pick up sparks, I think, though, here, because you saw earlier Zert was taking so much damage, so much chip from Mako, Imi, Asher, that might have helped a lot. But of course, Knife's Edge so valuable on this map, the additional speed and running up the sides, and also a little bit of the damage as well. Not something to be underestimated.
Yeah, and especially in this current Awakening rotation, Spark and Resilience kind of known for being one of the weaker sparks against Stagger, so yeah, a little bit of survivability. But with this current rotation, you can scale off of sparks, but with also peak performance in rotation, that also scales and can give you speed if you can pick that up in a later draft.
Yeah, definitely something that Lufoxio will be looking at. Mr. Zert didn't want to go for the 1 spark deny, of course. You mentioned earlier the starting spark choices only on Jay for Ember, so that shaped their decision making quite a bit. A perfect clear from Beepo, doesn't quite get caught by the Cyber Swipe, and a perfect shot from Mr. Zert. Doesn't hit the corner. I don't think Bebop was expecting that. I don't think I was expecting that.
No, that was perfectly lined up. No bounce, no unintentional like weird angles. Just right along the edge in a situation where Bebop, I don't know if Mako could have reached it. Maybe if they did like a quick pop on secondary. But yeah, I just don't think anyone was expecting it to just go in so cleanly like that.
Good defense from Beepo once again on the barrier. Goes for the flip, but a good elusive by Bam will take it away. And now Mr. Zert dribbling to the top side. Jay making it a little bit tricky as well, but Bebop defends it all away without the use of a flip, and Beepo continues to maintain that 1 barrier. Oh, but a missed strike shot. Goes for the strike shot, not the strike, and that's the downfall of the barrier. Good save by Jay, forced to flip, gets it out of there, beats out the Asher dash hitbox with the slime. And then now Bam rotating to the top side. It's still a dangerous spot for Ember's Flame, though.
Yeah, and they did have Bam, they have Bam staggered once again. Going to be a lot harder for Bam to get really up in that goal box where Asher wants to be to attack, especially with Mr. Zert on that Jakar sitting right behind you.
Yeah, and Mr. Zert taking some chip, taking a lot of damage. Could be KO'd pretty soon, but the healing will help out just a little bit. But actually, it's Mr. Zert reversing the KO. It's Bam who goes down, but a good save by Bebop sends it to the other side of the world. Lufoxio forward. Still a good clear by Beepo in the end. And now a good strike shot to accelerate the offense. No, deflected away yet again. And now Bam and Lufoxio can try to snap up the core in the midfield.
Yeah, and it just seems like it's becoming a battle of the defense. And like Ballers is having so many good offensive plays early, but like you were saying, once the gates are down, it just becomes a very normal map. Yeah, you have those portals to deal with, but it's not that difficult from like an Auten or really any other map. And Beepo is just doing such a good job and is effectively just surviving long enough to give Zert and Jay enough attempts to make something happen on the other end.
Right now, it's a bit of a double goalie action, though, as Jay is getting so many saves. I think Beepo recognizing that if Jay is there, you can afford to lose a strike, or as long as you force a strike out from the enemy forward, and those interactions have been very good. And the cooldown rotations, too, using the secondary to its full potential. A flip to hit stun, and there goes the second point. Ember's Flame, what a rock-solid defense.
Rock solid defense, and like you were saying, they were doing such a good job on like using a double goalie makes it really hard to get through. But Jay having the eye of knowing when an opportunity is about to arise and pushing forward and knowing when to make an attack, and that's just such good positioning and map awareness and just awareness of the entire situation.
Right now, Jay, not looking okay at the moment. So much damage being poured out from Bam. Could maybe go for a KO here, but the dash goes wide, doesn't catch the core. Another shotgun out from Mr. Zert. Trying to find a little bit more value here. The passing plays, a good flip out from Beepo, interrupted in the midfield by a strike shot. And a Molten Bolt to take a barrier, but the Ensnare Drums will secure a clear out. And Bam forward, doesn't expend the flip. And I think you have to use energy in those situations because now Ember's Flame are going to continue to try and hold.
Or they won it for the KO, I guess, but I don't know if that was the call because now the barrier's open on both sides. But Bam making it happen, proving us wrong, and gets an excellent pass from LaFoxio and just sends it to that bottom corner where, again, that low mobility Atlas cannot reach it.
Yeah, unfortunately, people didn't commit hard enough, and when you have too little speed on Atlas, you have to hard commit in certain places to find the save. Oh no, a barrier going down, a flip out, LaFoxio. The Ballin' Ballers, once again, they accelerate the offense to take both barriers, but we've seen this situation before.
Yep, and now it's just really on Ember's Flame, really not to panic. They've seen Beepo hold down an open goal before, and as long as that, they can just send the core to the other side and just kind of take that pressure off so Beepo can get the cooldowns, but gets KO'd, caught in Bam's Asher ult, and at that point it's just a matter of time before the team of LaFoxio and Bam sends it in.
Yeah, not a great situation there. Trying to force through the pad splitter is very, very deadly if you're in the goal box, and that is why a lot of goalies do hate the Asher character. Unfortunate death, and once again a 0.5. Ember's Flame. They were on just 1 point away from closing it out, but now they're in a lot of trouble with that KO coming through.
And this is kind of what we saw the first set. We see Ember's Flame getting up pretty early, 2 points, but Ballin' Ballers bringing it back with just that kind of teamwork and offense and making something happen and bring it down to 0.5 once again.
Yeah, we'll have to see if the patience can keep up from Ember's Flame, because there have been moments where the clears just are a little bit too impatient, and the flip not used there as well. A little bit tough for Ember's Flame, but well played by Bam to force the mistake in the corner. And yeah, Beepo had been so consistent in the first set, but I think we're seeing a lot of impatience coming in, and that's the third spark.
Yep, that's the third spark. I can only imagine. Yep, LaFoxio picking it up. I mean, this is kind of tough. Twin Drive, obviously, like one of Atlas, if not Atlas, best awakenings. But I can only imagine they were kind of hoping they'd be able to get some speed out of that peak performance. But when you see Biss, you take Biss.
Yeah, Twin Drive, really, really good, though. That will allow people to not have to strike more often. And that's the real value of Atlas, right? It's bypassing those interactions, especially against an Asher. But that Asher is looking kind of scary as well. Big fish plus big performance, looking to be a little bit strong, a little bit fast, and the potential to take a spark if necessary in the next draft.
Yeah, I mean, Bam is picking up exactly what just about every Asher forward wants. A little bit of size, a little bit of speed, and that's really all you need. And then Asher just gets it done in these corners. Except Beepo gets it done with the astral projection. Bam getting a little too comfortable along the edge there.
And now Mrs. Zert and Jay can rush forward on the offense once again. So much damage dealt by the slime, actually, and a weird flip in the midfield by Lufox for damage, but that's a double barrier. Big offense by the side of Ballin' Ballers as a clean rebound from Lufoxio taken to the bottom end.
Yeah, and just kind of a good response from Bam, spawning in immediately, finding that KO on Mr. Zert. Again, just hugging a little too close to the edge sometimes. that's just where a lot of forwards want to attack. But as soon as you get someone who knows that kill range of those characters, it becomes a near death sentence. And Bam almost getting caught again with that astral projection.
Oh, yeah, but still stays alive there, and that's a big difference now. The offense can be pushed forward. A really scary defensive situation for Beepo, but a good strike timing will send it out of the corner with one barrier still alive, but through the portal it goes again. The Expanse burned. A good strike shot past Bam, a good astral projection past Bam, and the shotgun trying to get it past Bebop, but the Mako has so many tools to deal with a Drakkar here. The Juno's going to have to do the job with the core speed, with the redirects to the top side. Jay, another fantastic play. But again, it goes to the other side, and it's only a matter of time before a KO is found. The core rocketed through the corner, and Baller set up another clean goal.
Yeah, and that kind of goalie, or not even goalie, but flip shot from the goal box through the portal, just kind of hard to read. But once they flip and they're on that portal side, you just kind of have to assume they're going to go for that tricky shot, especially when you are an Atlas that can't get there, can't blink there, can't use any like dash or haste abilities to make up for that positioning.
Oh, and because of the Firewall Sentry to take so much chip, a clean strike war win from Bam in the corner. And once again, the set is won by the Ballers. And
yeah,
the Foxio first pick, uh-oh.
Do we see it? We see it. Oh.
And they can deny the hot shot.
They can, yeah. Bam just has to pick up the hot shot. We get the Spark Exodia on LaFoxio. Oh man, if you're an Ember's Flame, this is not what you want to see right now.
Yep, hot shot denied, of course. There are other good awakenings there. Fight or Flight, very good in the midfield for Jay, but the core speed would have been a little bit better in this game, I think, in getting past Bebop. And now this draft is looking quite scary here.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, those investment on Sparks is severely is going to be paying dividends, I think, in this final set here.
Might not even be the final one, but given that it is for Sparks, it is looking quite final. LaFoxio, every stat in the world. Bam is just walking up and strike warring Beepo. That is something to be watched out for here. And a strike war again versus Jay. Bam is winning everything.
Yeah, again, when you are a forward Asher and you have an IME backing you up, let alone the mayor of Sparkington City backing you up, you're going to get your opportunities. You just save your cooldowns for when you need them. Get those confirmed barriers. Get the confirmed goals. You're sitting pretty nice here.
I really like how they're playing around Bam, because if your Brawler's winning strike wars against the goalie in the midfield, that is not what normally happens, right? Brawlers typically don't win the majority of strike wars. That's the midfield and goalie's job, especially the goalie's job. But since Bam is winning, they're just like, okay, we'll let you cook, and just passing it up to Bam, who just dribbles it up the entire length of the field.
Yeah, and then LaFoxio can sit back, help Dr. Bebop defend, but then with all those cooldowns, all that speed, they can blink in, rush in, make those offensive pushes, and does not take him too long to transition back into a defensive position. So Ballers looking good on every aspect, except it is now a open goal on both sides.
Really scary shot from Jay, and Beepo again goes for the strike shot instead of striking. Why preempt that? Oh, and it finally comes back to punish Ember's Flame. Now they're one goal away from losing this game. And it is a Ballers map pick, right? So it is not the end of the world, I believe. But it is a game that they had to lead in, and it's very tough. But I think Ballers have scaled enough to really close this one out.
Yeah, and kind of going to the whiffed strike shots of Beepo. Oh. I think it's coming down to a little bit of panic, like you were saying. Bam just doing such a good job of winning strike wars. I think Beepo's just trying to avoid getting into those situations.
Oh, a little bit of a weird missed strike coming out from Bebop. It kind of got sent right into Mr. Zerd. LaFoxio and Bebop not quite playing that situation perfectly, but they do have points to spare, right? In this set, they do have points to spare. They do have a lot of cooldowns. They have all the scaling in the world at their back, so they can just continue on the offense another time, and there goes the barrier.
Yep, and Bam and Ballers doing what they do best, get those barriers down quick, and again, this is kind of where they've struggled through most of this game is in this open goal. But now that they've scaled, you got Lefoxio with the speed, the passes, and Bam just sitting right where they need to, right outside of Atlas's range, and is able to just sink it into that top pocket.
Well played from Ballin' Ballers, and this is why, despite being a 0-5 team, that they have a lot of game threes. They have a lot of close games versus some of the top teams in the league, and this really could be their first win if they continue playing like this.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, they both these teams have kind of those losing records. Ballin' Ballers hasn't won a game, a series yet, but like you said, they play so well. They've taken so many good teams, so many top teams to set 5 to point 5. They know how to hold their own. I think kind of what their big issue might be, and we've kind of saw it in that match as well, that they have a hard time really locking in when it matters. When you get that open goal, when you're down to the match point, set point, and really securing that final goal, that final point, and locking in and getting those confirmations. And I think that's where they need to lock it in. And they were able to that last match. Granted, I think that spark scaling and then the size and speed going into Bam right there helped a lot. So we'll kind of see how they go into this next match at Lab, I believe, which is now Ember's preferred. Yeah, Ember's preferred map.
Yeah, and although the attitude was a little bit doomer towards the end of that game, like it's not all bad, right? Usually, Gates Obscura is picked by the teams that are comfortable on it, so Ballin' Ballers winning out on it is not the biggest surprise, and I think if Ember can regroup, reset mental, and have a good at-lab game, that could really be how they win this series, but they really need to clutch up here.
Yeah, that's. I mean, they're already down. They're already down one game in this series. They need to clutch up. They are going to their map pick, so you can only assume it's a map they're comfortable on. Especially if Beepo picks Atlas. Atlas insanely good at locking down those smaller barriers on AtLab, which is just going to make it that much harder for Bam and Lefoxio to make an offensive push to get those early barriers like we were seeing on Gates, because they're just smaller. That Atlas expanse is going to by default pretty much cover that entire lock, and really going to make it difficult for Ballin' Ballers to kind of get their own team flow state going in a sense.
Yeah, and also another little bit of an obstacle is actually the fact that Ballin' Ballers are on blue side here. And if Ballin' Ballers are on blue side, they can pick away the Atlas at first pick. And that is, I think, an incredibly valuable draft strategy here to deny Beepo that Atlas. And if we see a B1 Atlas here from Ballin' Ballers, like, they are nowheres. But
Yeah.
there are other priority picks that you could opt for here, especially on a start like this. I think you could go for the Asher again, right? It was incredibly powerful. To go for the Estelle first pick, there's no way that was correct. Oh, I think they've handed Ember a win condition on a silver platter here.
Yeah, I mean, Estelle, a good midfield pick, but yeah, I think you're right. It's like you have your blue team. You ban and you get first pick, and I know Bebop is comfortable on Atlas, so I know Bebop can play Atlas goalie. I I think you're right. I'm kind of wondering what they're going for. They're handing over that Asher forward pick to Ember Flame, um, which Mr. Zert is no stranger to.
Yeah, and now they have the option, right? They could pick the J Juno. They could pick the Beepo Atlas. Like, Ember's Flame. Now their draft is sunshine, happiness, whatever. They could do whatever now. Von Bowers, I think, missed out on a bit of an opportunity to deny one of the power picks. They picked the now here, which will be very, very valuable in terms of that monumentalist start. And now,
Yeah.
once again, the opportunity returns, right? The potential to deny away that Atlas. And I think this is like doubly a weird pick because You could have saved the now for last pick, right? That's an Estelle midfield. They're probably not going to pick now, and if they do, they're going to pick a goalie, and I'm pretty sure you can work past that. And they don't even deny it. Yo, ball and
No,
ballers. This is not
what
a good drafting strategy. What the hell?
what are we cooking here, ballers? Like,
Like the outcome of the draft, it isn't bad in a vacuum, but like there have to be like 5 different ways you could have done this better, ball and ballers.
yeah, and then I imagine we're just gonna see an Atlas on this last pick on the side of Ember's Flame here, unless that's
Oh
oh, it's an Ash. Oh, okay, it's an Asher
no,
goalie.
it's a now goalie.
Oh, it's a now goalie.
Right? Yeah, it's a now goalie.
Yeah, I
And
thought that unless they're going for like some double midfield
it,
comp here, which yeah, I would not agree with. Okay, Loki, it could be a Juno goalie. I doubt it.
uh, I think both these teams through draft. All good. We'll see what happens in the game because
This is gonna be.
the plays matter, not the draft. Both these teams through it.
I just want to say this is gonna be an interesting game. I think
Yeah, it'll be fun.
out of the dozen of ways I was expecting this draft to go, this was not in the cards at all.
All right, we're heading right into Atlas's lab monumentalist peak performance, and we just gotta hope that Ember's Flame puts up a peak performance in this game because this is a wild one. This is a draft of all time from both these teams.
Yeah. And yeah, it looks like Dubu on the goal box on the side of Ballers. Just with, I'm trying to think which team is favored here going into this. Having that Dubu on the goal box, really defensive, like that, the Dubu wall is going to be really hard to get through, I think, even for an Asher forward. But you do have that Monumentalist now pick on the side of Ember's Flame, which, yep, now it looks like we're seeing a now goalie here. I don't know what to expect here.
Yep. Well, we'll have to head into the game and see how it happens. Everyone on peak performance except for Beepo, who is predictably on the Monumentalist now. But there's one downside, one big downside to picking the now goalie here, and it's the fact that Beepo is a MOBA player. And the now secondary becomes a nightmare of an ability to use as a goalie if you are playing MOBA controls. It is going to be like, it's going to be delayed, not because of the character, but because of the control scheme. As, whoa, a Sad Boys angle.
Yeah, an unfortunate Sad Boys angle, but does still get the barrier, probably just not the one they're looking for. But Ember's Flame taking down that second barrier. They were looking a little rough given the 2 barriers up pretty quick, but now they're starting to make a push and keeping that core on the side and keeping the offense and getting Lufoxio staggered. Ember's Flame might be having some something cooking going here.
Yeah, in a vacuum, they might have the better draft, honestly, because Rasmus, not too comfortable against the now goalie, but without the secondary, that's a big problem. Good flip out from Beepo, perfectly timed, as Mr. Zerg gets the rebound to the bottom side. That flip was really, really good. Any different timing, and that's probably a ball and baller's goal.
Yeah, it was great save. Even got into what you're saying. Beepo being that MOBA goalie, picking the now, might have some struggles in some areas, but their decision making is completely unaffected by that. As long as they can stay cool, calm, and collected, and just let Zert kind of just push it through Bebop like we see there.
Yeah, and once again, Jay being the backbone of the team, right in the midfield, keeping it forward. And so far, it's looking good. Bam and Lufoxio unable to really get anything going here. I think a lot of that is also they pick double single hit characters versus now goalie. And now goalie really struggles against multi-hits, but they're nowhere to be found in this comp.
Yeah, so I think you're right. Like in the vacuum, Ember's Flame might be sitting pretty comfortable here. And yeah, Jay just keeping it forward and allowing Zert to reserve his cooldowns to get it through this Dubu. And we're seeing a lot of energy on the field. We see Lufoxio with the flip. Bebop just gets the flip. Zert might as well have flip at this point. And Big Anime Milky's able to get it around Bebo. Now we see an open goal on the side of Ember's Flame.
Yeah, and you mentioned 2 flips available. Lufoxio is going to have to use this one. to great effect. Oh, but it just gets blocked out by Jay in the midfield. The primary doesn't quite connect either. But the Tofu Fortress will send it forward. Lufoxio now on the dribble, trying to find it, but Mr. Zert drops back. Helps out on the defense. Another passing play, though. And Bam threads the needle between Jay and Beepo to find the first goal for the Ballers.
Yeah, it looked like Beepo trying to set up that now primary to kind of prevent Bam from dribbling. Kind of what we saw in that gate, dribbling and making their approach and getting themselves set up. But unfortunately, that left them without anything to contest that their blind spot that Jay could not quite cover.
Oh, and a good hook by Bam covers the entire clear angle, and a clean strike for win versus 2. The first game and the second game, it's all the same to Bam, winning strike wars against the midfielder and the goalie consistently.
Bam looking very comfortable on this Rasmus now that they got their ult up and kind of be able to hook and make some of those nice plays. But we do see Zert kind of showing why Asher could be a force to be reckoned with on just about any map.
Oh, and a good Crystal Thorns forward, but the Ballers need to be very careful around this J flip. That could translate to a goal very, very quickly as it goes forward. Once again, the Tofu Fortress expended to not risk anything, but the core still accelerating forwards. Bam trying to reach it, but not enough size. An insta flip out from Jay will secure the goal, and Ember's Flame will get out of the very, very scary first set.
That was a phenomenal shot by Jay with that insta flip and just a perfect angle, and Zert able to like just eat that Dubu roll and allow Jay's insta flip to just send it right in. As we're seeing now, a 1-2 punch on the Juno, possibly.
Yeah, that is definitely what I'm looking at here. The core speed going to be so valuable as the two sparks kind of stick out like a sore thumb. Probably not the awakening that's going to be gone for, but the spark of resilience is indeed. Bam looking to get in the offense and not have to worry. Stagger Saga drop down for a little bit of speed on the Dubu as well. Interesting draft all around. I think it's pretty even at the end of it all, but that 1-2 punch Juno is definitely the outlier.
The 1-2 punch Juno is definitely the immediate outlier, but that spark of resilience, kind of like what I was saying in the previous match, with a peak performance start, Bam picking that up is going to get some more speed out of it, and there's still 2 sparks left on the table, so they can still scale that, get that stagger scaling going and get even faster while getting those other spark benefits. So that's something to keep a lookout for the next couple drafts, I think.
This is her dribbling forward, making it a threat, but Lufoxio is primarying on the wall a little bit too much, I think. Is making it a little bit obvious, but Bam, hook back, good interruption by Beepo with the secondary. And now Bebop and Lufoxio looking for a passing lane, but this Juno is making it difficult. A good clear up of Beepo once again, but can't cover the entire goal. A little bit too late on the secondary, and well, Ballers, that's the kind of point they want, right? They want to keep passing it up to Bam, who will eventually find enough outplays.
Yep, just giving to Bam enough time to get the cooldowns up, and as long as they got 2 abilities, I think Bam can force it through just about anyone on Ember's Flame team at this point. So we might be seeing kind of what we were seeing a little bit previous match of Jay falling back to double goal, but that Tofu Fortress sends it back and gets the barrier.
And Lufoxio, the strike warring strike warriors, Lufoxio and Bam both are having incredible strike wars to convert into points with both these games.
Yeah, Bam, I think they're locking it in. I think it's been taking them a little bit to like get their rhythm going, but they're looking good right now. Winning the strike wars, being patient, finding those plays, finding those opportunities, and like just making things happen. And Bebop just holding down that fortress in the face of a J flip and able to just give Lufoxio, give Bam all the opportunities they need.
Another passing play forward, a really good delay, but an even better save by Jay, but on the rebound, Lufoxio returns it and Bam secures it. 3-0, and it looked decisive from the Ballers. They didn't even care about the 1-2 punch Juno, and now the spark scaling can come into effect. Oh, well, never mind.
The game says no. But we do see size. Rasmus loves size, but also perfect farm on the table. And Ego is not a lot of good awakenings here. I think Bam might want to pick up.
Oh, interesting that Bam ends up going for the rapid fire. I think Demolitionist was the play there, and then perfect form on the Estelle, which is indeed taken. Great awakening in terms of cooldown uptime, and the size denied away from the Asher. But I feel like the draft would have gone a little bit better if if the size was on the Rasmus instead, Juno's gonna get something decent anyway, like it's jump or rapid fire. So
Yeah, it's like I'm pretty sure it was a deny on Jay's Juno there, but yeah, with just how well they've been winning their Strike Wars anyways, like just that exercise. Sad Boy's angle, but LaFoxio able to set it back up. But the Bam with the size, just winning basically every Strike War at that point, I think would have been just a better advantage.
yeah, the great Sad Boys angle from Beepo, though. Unfortunately, on the rebound, LaFoxio took the barrier, and now pushing forward on the top side. The Slime sends it forward with the 1-2 punch, but Bam accelerating the core. Dangerous spot now for LaFoxio to send it forward to Bam, looking for a play, looking for the hook to the top side, but Beepo has the good movement to catch up to it in time, and once again covering the bottom side, but constantly ball in Baller's possession, and LaFoxio will eventually find the goal, and that's 4 unanswered points.
Yeah, and that's LaFoxio on this Estelle. Estelle's just such a good midfield, just because she doesn't have to commit as hard and like push up and physically be in the enemy goal box. She has just such a range presence with all her projectiles and abilities that LaFoxio can just kind of like hang out in the midfield, keep proccing those mag souls for the speed boost, and just keep sending it to Bam, who will make something happen. Or like we saw, use that Estelle primary and just catch Jay and Beepo off guard or without an option.
Yeah, and Omega Strikers is a game of possession where the team that gets more tries wins usually. And that's what we're seeing here from the Ball and Ballers. They're continuing to send it forward. Dr. Bebop doesn't even have to defend. That guy's just dancing around in the other side of the field as Bam and LaFoxio continue to send it forward. Eventually, they win the strike war. Eventually, they build up a flip, and it's defended this time by Mr. Zert. But again, I don't think Ember has gotten a shot on barrier in the past 2 minutes.
No, Zert, like Embers is full on triple goaling at this point, just because they cannot get it past this duo of LaFoxio and Bam, and Beepo just kind of chilling back in the goal box. Just when the core eventually does get over to his side, just sending it right back, and then Bam and LaFoxio just keep what they're doing, keep on the attack, keep on the offense.
Oh, wait a second, things have changed. Both barriers taken. But a good strike war again from Bam. Mr. Zert, though, has the flip. But, oh, it gets baited out. No, Mr. Zert, you can't be burning flip like that. And now, the Ball and Ballers are out of danger. Oh, never mind. That Slime just ate the log. Good play from Jay.
Don't worry, Bebop just needed to warm back up after that last point.
True.
But, yeah, I think that was just an unfortunate double barrier, and then the entirety of Ball and Ballers just had to like come back and play defensively, which is just where they don't want to be. But an unfortunate clear from Jay, tries to clear it up, but the previous barrier is not gone and just sends it right back, and kind of self-unlocking there.
Dangerous spot now. Beepo, sword angle, gets it out of there. LaFoxio with the flip available, though, is so scary. He tries to find a dribble, but Mr. Zert sending it forward. It's cleared around. And now another dangerous situation. Flip from the midfield and hit stun on Beepo to make sure secondary can't come out. The Ball and Ballers looking very, very consistent. If we just ignore that last point, don't worry about it.
Yeah, everyone gets one, okay? Everyone gets one. But we do see LaFoxio up front, and they're going to have to deny the hot shot from Jay's Juno right there. But we are seeing double spark, which I can only imagine Bam picking that up.
It might not be the play to pick it up, actually. It might be an unstoppable deny against Beepo. That might actually be okay, why did you go prime time? Out of all the things, you just went for...
Okay.
And Beepo picks unstoppable here. And now Ember have a win condition because the goalie is unstoppable versus Rasmus Estelle. Oh yeah, let's go, Ember.
There were so many different better options. Bam just wants primary, I guess, but yeah, Beepo has unstop. Your primary isn't gonna do much as long as they got those shields up.
And the KO found once again by Mr. Zert.
Unstop saves that.
True. The core accelerated forward. Jay winning a midfield strike war, sending the core forward with the 1-2 punch yet again. The Tofu Fortress, though, looking quite stable this time. A bit out of character for that ability sometimes. On the top side it goes. Once again, Mr. Zert looking quite massive, and the passing plays are coming through as cooldowns are burned by Dr. Bebop. But a little bit of overcommitting done by Mr. Zert means that the barrier still stands for the Ball and Ballers, and maybe they can recover this one.
Yeah, but we are seeing a lot more offense on the side of Ember's Flame now. So we've been seeing so much defense out of them. It's I'm to the point as like I don't know what to expect from Ember's offense at this point.
Well, there's a rebound. There's Jay on top of it with the slime. And there's the goal for Ember's Flame. That last draft, a bit of a series of blunders for the side of Ballin' Ballers, perhaps. But it's not like they're out of it, right? It's still Rapid Prime time. It's still Hot Shot on the Estelle. They still have a lot of win conditions to play with. I think they just got to make sure to neutralize Mr. Zert.
Yeah, it's like just keep it. Like it seems obvious. It seems like, well, of course that's what you want to do, but keep it on the side of Ember Flame, so Zert just cannot commit to an offensive. They either like stick around the midfield and you just deny the core ever getting to them, or they have to come back in triple goalie, and then you have basically all the freedom in the world to play the game you want for the side of Ballin' Ballers.
Two flips available. The Ballin' Ballers need to secure this one. It looks like a missed strike from Beepo, but still clears the way to the top side. A flip available. Another flip used from Dr. Bebop, but it gets stopped in the midfield. And now another final flip from Bam. Doesn't quite connect, but the dribble is found. Jay with the flip this time. Waits out the log, and Lufoxio clears it right into Mr. Zerb. We got to work on those vertical clears. Come on. If you're a midfielder, you got to play some goalie.
Or if you want to know how to just defend against an Asher forward, vertical clears. Clear perpendicular to Asher. She can't do anything about it. She's so slow. That's why Asher loves those size awakenings. The last thing you ever want to do is hit it straight into Asher. She wins those 110% of the time.
All right, this is her dribbling the core forward, looking like quite a menace on the bottom side of the map as Bam goes forward with a primary, but the Unstoppable once again saving the day for Ember's Flame. It works its way through the Holy Fortress, but Bebop avoids disaster just barely with the help of Lufoxio. And as the core circles around, a great stun to avoid getting KO'd from Bebop. And now a lot of meter being built up for Lufoxio here, but Mr. Zert wins a critical strike war. And Ember's Flame, one goal away from continuing this game into the fifth set, but Bam to the bottom side, but this time Mr. Zert wins the strike war and is now dribbling it forward. Dangerous spot with the pass splitter, flip available, KO on the goalie, around the world it goes, and Beepo pulls it away. Core speed still keeping up though, and the possession still maintained. A flip though, and deflected away by the lingering hitbox of the Rasmus primary.
And there was an earlier point. I'm pretty sure Bam would have scored there if Beepo did not have that unstop. But they are finally to the point where they're making these offensive plays. They're forcing Zert to come back and kind of help defend, hunt for these kind of KOs, which is where Ballin' Baller wants. They don't want to have to worry if it gets back to their goal back that Beepo has to 1v1 Mr. Zert's Asher. And they just need to like get this offensive pressure going and keep it going. And I don't know. It's just gonna be so much harder now with Beepo not really threatened by these hit stuns, but not able to get it cleared past Bam, and Lufoxio just keeps sending it back, takes both barriers pretty quick in a 12-second point.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna need to see some better strikes from Beepo because the ability usage has been very solid. The decision making has been solid, but when it comes to the strike mechanics, he's kind of faltering, and that's a little unfortunate because the Unstop is not getting the full value, right? You need to strike well for Unstop to really abuse the enemy forwards. And now it's match point for Ballin' Ballers. Both barriers are open. The hot shot sending it forward. Lufoxio and Bam continuing to walk up because they know all it takes is one more goal to get their first win of this NASA season.
Yeah, but now Ember's Flame kind of has their offense going. But Beepo almost whiffing it, almost giving it up for free, kind of has to use her flip to catch it there.
Dangerous spot now. Beepo in the 1v1. Bam pushing forward. Has the speed. Good patience from Beepo on the strike, but it's still a dangerous spot. Lufoxio and Bam maintaining possession. Good interruption from Mr. Zert, but now it's a 1v1. Amazing clear from Beepo, but it's still such a dangerous spot. Top side saved by Jay, and Ember holding on, but it's still in the hands of Lufoxio. Flip available. Possession maintained by this Ballin' Ballers squad, and eventually it will find its way in the Ballin' Ballers. 2-0. They take their first win of the season.
Yeah, Ballin' Ballers. Okay, if we just kind of ignore every drafting decision that entire game, like played it phenomenally well. They had the offensive plays and they struggled. Oddly enough at the midfield, even though Lufoxio was doing a phenomenal job sending it to Bam to keep those offensive plays going. But yeah, just kind of struggled with some of those clears against the Asher forward. But all in all, Ball and Ballers is a very aggressive team when it comes to like trying to score, and I think that they played into it insanely well these 2 games.
Yeah, and again, the Ball and Ballers, they were due for one, right? Like they haven't been playing bad this season, and it happens to the best of us, you know. Like you have a few close games, and suddenly you're 0-5, but they're not 0-5 anymore. They're 1-5, and the Ball and Ballers, they can make a playoffs run. It's not out of the realm of possibility with so many teams at 2-3, and Embers Flame now they gotta watch out because 2-4, that's a record where you could definitely make playoffs, but again, like there's so many teams in that clump. It is still incredibly close.
Yeah, it's kind of an uphill battle for both these teams. But if Ball and Ballers could lock in kind of how they play today, fix some of their drafting decisions, and I think like you said, it's not out of the realm of possibility. It's going to be an uphill battle, and they are going to have to work for it. But we could still see them moving on through playoffs.
And when it comes to individual plays, Bam went crazy, right? Like, it was just winning a strike war against everybody. Had a matchup versus the midfielder and the goalie at the same time. Who cares? Bam's winning that one. The Ball and Ballers can continue seeing that kind of form from Bam. This is a team that just might be able to sweep the rest of the season and move on to playoffs. But we'll have to see in the next week, and not next week because that's the 3rd week of week 6, but the next actual like week of the season, as in week 7.
The next competitive week, not the next calendar week.
Yeah, which is in a while. Anything you want to say before we disappear?
I don't think so. I'm looking forward to see where these 2 teams go the rest of this playoffs and kind of see how they learn from this series here.
Right. Well, with that, we'll see you next week for week 6, part 3, the 3rd week of week 6. Don't go any. Actually, no, do go somewhere. Goodbye.